हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू मनु लॉ क्लासेस। मेरा नाम गौतम दीक्षित है, जीके एंड करंट अफेयर्स फैकल्टी एट मनु लॉ क्लासेस। आज के इस वीडियो में हम नवंबर 22, 2021 का डेली हिंदू एनालिसिस करेंगे। टू एक्सेस द वीडियोज ऑफ डेली हिंदू एनालिसिस प्लीज सब्सक्राइब टू मनु लॉ क्लासेस प्राइवेट लिमिटेड यूट्यूब चैनल। नाउ आज के जो न्यूज़ हैं, पहला तो जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज़ है, राजस्थान कैबिनेट एक्सपांडेड, 15 मिनिस्टर्स टेक ओथ ऑफ ऑफिस। इसमें जो न्यूज़ है इसका हम एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बैकग्राउंड भी देखेंगे। देन वी विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट न्यूज़ रिलेटेड टू द स्वच्छ सर्वेक्षण अवार्ड 2021 अनाउंस्ड बाय द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हाउसिंग एंड अर्बन अफेयर्स। उसके वेरियस कैटेगरीज क्या हैं, किस कैटेगरी में कौन कौन जीता है। आफ्टर दैट वी विल सी अ न्यूज़ रिलेटेड टू INS विशाखापट्टनम विच इज़ अ डिस्ट्रॉयर शिप अंडर द प्रोजेक्ट 15B। प्रोजेक्ट 15 क्या था, प्रोजेक्ट 15A क्या था, प्रोजेक्ट 15B क्या है, इंडियन नेवी का क्या प्लान है टू एक्वायर द शिप्स अबाउट टिल 2027। वी विल सी ऑल दोज थिंग्स। देन सूडान में क्या नया पॉलिटिकल डेवलपमेंट हुआ है, वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी दैट ऑल्सो। सो स्टार्ट विद द न्यूज़। तो फर्स्ट न्यूज़ इज राजस्थान कैबिनेट एक्सपांडेड, 15 मिनिस्टर्स टू टेक ओथ ऑफ ऑफिस। अब यहाँ पे देखिए, a total of 15 ministers were sworn in on Sunday as the Ashok Gehlot ministry in Rajasthan was expanded, taking the strength of the Council of Ministers to the maximum permissible limit of 30. Now, यहाँ पे ये maximum permissible limit of 30 ऐसा क्यों लिखा गया है? So, to understand that, we have to understand the 91st Amendment Act 2003. So, there is a 91st Constitutional Amendment Act which says that the total number of ministers including the prime minister and in the case of state the chief minister shall not exceed 15% of the total strength of the house of people। इसका मतलब कि अगर हम स्टेट की बात करें, so we have the article 164। so the 91st amendment act amends the article 164 of the constitution and it gives the maximum strength of the council of minister, that is 15% of the total strength of state legislative assembly। राजस्थान के केस में वो maximum permissible limit जो है that is 30। Now 11 of the legislatures who took oath were inducted as cabinet minister and 4 as the ministers of state। जो ministers of states होते हैं इन्हें junior minister माना जाता है और कभी कभी इन्हें independent portfolio भी दिया जाता है, but status ministers of state ही होता है। Now we have a factual information that who is the governor of Rajasthan. So Shri Kalraj Mishra is the governor of Rajasthan. Now the governor appoints the ministers in the state on the recommendation of the chief minister। और administer कौन करेगा oath? That is also done by the governor। Now the next news is about the repeal of the 3 farm laws and what are the So the next news is about the repeal of the 3 farm laws and farmers are now demanding more। So see, there are 2 important demands of the farmers. Those are the legal guarantee of remunerative minimum support price and withdrawal of the draft electricity amendment bill 2021। तो जैसे कि हम जानते हैं there are 3 farm laws which will be withdrawn in the winter session of the parliament। वो जो 3 farm laws हैं, these are the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020, the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020, the next is Essential Commodities Amendment Act 2020। Now let's come to the minimum support price। तो अब minimum support price को अगर हम समझें तो there was a Swaminathan committee which gave 3 types of minimum support price which is called as A2, then A2 plus FL and C2। C2 is called as the comprehensive price। A2 जो होता है it includes out of pocket expenses like loans for the fertilizer, fuel, machinery, irrigation and cost of leasing the land जो फार्मर को बेयर करना पड़ता है। उसके बाद सिर्फ यही फार्मर का कॉस्ट नहीं होता है, लेबर भी एक कॉस्ट होता है। So if we include labor also in this input cost, so it becomes A2 plus FL। it becomes A2 plus FL। ओके, तो ध्यान रखिएगा A2 में डायरेक्ट इनपुट कॉस्ट इंक्लूड होते हैं, A2 प्लस FL में लेबर कॉस्ट भी आता है। नाउ व्हाट इज C2? नाउ अगर फार्मर ने कुछ अगर लिया है तो it has also has to pay interest. Suppose farmer has bought a tractor or farmer has leased a land or farmer has taken a loan, तो उसे farmer को interest भी देना पड़ता है उन सब loans के ऊपर. If all those are included, then we get the comprehensive cost which is called as C2. अब the स्वामीनाथन कमेटी जो है उसने रिकमेंड किया था that the MSP should be like C2 plus 50% of C2. C2 plus 50% of C2, that should be the MSP price. So minimum support price, it is announced by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs for 23 crops based on the recommendation of CACP, Commission for Agriculture Cost and Pricing. The next is the anti-CAA protest gather fresh stream. तो इसके बारे में जो न्यूज़ है, क्योंकि फार्म लॉज को गवर्नमेंट विड्रॉ करने वाली है, सो द CAA which seeks to fast track the granting of citizenship to non-Muslims who have fled the religious persecution in Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan and who have taken refuge in India till 2014. They were to be given the citizenship under this act. There was a Shaheen Bagh protest movement against this act, but the government refused to withdraw this bill. Now, एक छोटा सा न्यूज़ है from the state that the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan, he has announced to implement the police commissioner system in Bhopal and Indore. अब पुलिस कमिश्नर सिस्टम इन भोपाल एंड इंदौर का एडवांटेज क्या होता है? सो सी ADG rank officers, Additional Director General of Police, ADG rank officers, they will be posted in both the cities as commissioners. Then police, they will get magisterial powers and they have to no longer wait for the collector's order to lathi charge or to implement section 144. The next is flood situation remains grave in Andhra Pradesh. तो जैसा कि हम जानते हैं, this is related to the shifting of the low pressure belt. So what happens, that during this time the sun is overhead in the southern Bay of Bengal. So over here what happens, a low pressure area is created which gives rise to cyclone. Now यहाँ पे एक नया cyclone develop होने वाला है in this region which is called as cyclone Jawar. Now when this cyclone Jawar is being developed in the southern Bay of Bengal, which has led to intense flooding in Andhra Pradesh. Now the next news about post-COVID positive change in police attitude towards public. तो यहाँ पे एक DGP conference हुआ था लखनऊ में. It was a hybrid conference. It was attended by 62 DGPs and IGPs as well as Director Generals of Central Armed Police Forces and more than 400 officers of various ranks attended it virtually from Intelligence Bureau Office. इसमें जो लोग present थे, so the conference, it was inaugurated by Union Home Minister Amit Shah on November 19th. He was accompanied by Minister of State for Home Affairs Nityanand Rai, Nishit Pramanik and Ajay Kumar Mishra. Then अगर फोटो शूट की बात करें जिसमें प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी भी प्रेजेंट थे और सीनियर पुलिस ऑफिसर्स भी थे, उसमें अजय कुमार मिश्रा एब्सेंट थे. Now the other people who attended this conference was National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Intelligence Bureau Director Arvind Kumar, Home Secretary Ajay Kumar Bhalla. They all were present. Now some of the things highlighted over here are that COVID-19 and the professionalism shown by police has won the trust of public. The second is a Prime Minister, he highlighted the smart policing. So various core groups of DGPs have been formed for discussion on key aspects of national security such as prison reform, terrorism, left-wing extremism, cybercrime, narcotics trafficking, foreign funding of NGOs, drone-related matters, development of border villages. उसके बाद smart policing का concept which was introduced in 2014, it is to be reviewed. अब meaning क्या है smart का? S का meaning है sensitive, M means modern and mobile, A means alert and accountable, R means reliable and responsive, T means techno savvy and trade. अगर हम आज का सिनेरियो इमेजिन करें कि हमारे पुलिस ऑफिसर्स के सामने क्या चैलेंजेस है, सो दीज आर द चैलेंजेस फॉर policing in India, so we have to adopt this smart policing strategy. The next is about INS Vishakhapatnam. So under project 15B, INS Vishakhapatnam has been now inducted in the Indian Navy. It was constructed by this ship was designed by Navy's Directorate of Naval Design and it was constructed by Mazgaon Dock Shipbuilders in Mumbai. And if we will just see the features in this ship, so it has enhanced stealth features resulting in a reduced cross section, and it is packed with sophisticated state-of-the-art weapons and sensors. कौन से? We have BrahMos, we have surface-to-surface BrahMos, we have surface-to-air Barak 8 missiles, and it has been named after the city Visakhapatnam, which is also known as City of Destination. Then the ship, it will be under the command of Captain Biren Singh Bains, who is the navigation and director specialist. Now over here, our defense minister Shri Rajnath Singh, he has highlighted certain issues in maritime domain, especially related to India. Now India has around 7,500 km of coastline. Also, Indian peninsula protrudes into the Indian Ocean. Now if there is a threat in Indian Ocean region, so there is also a threat to Indian trade and also to other small countries in the Indian Ocean region. So see, what is the view of India now? So India envisions a rule-based Indo-Pacific region. ये rule-based Indo-Pacific region जो है, it should practice freedom of navigation, free trade, and should be based on universal values. Now, India's interests are directly linked with the Indian Ocean, and this region is crucial for the world economy. अगर हम देखेंगे कि why Indian Ocean is crucial for the world economy, so if we will see that Indian Ocean is the connecting link between energy surplus West Asia and energy deficit but growing region, which is called as East Asia and South Asia. Then there are other challenges, which are piracy, terrorism, illegal smuggling of arms and narcotics, human trafficking, illegal fishing, and damage to the environment. These are also affecting the maritime domain. हमने पिछले वीक गोवा मैरीटाइम कॉन्क्लेव के बारे में पढ़ा था, तो वहाँ पे दो टाइप के चैलेंजेस थी, कन्वेंशनल एंड नॉन कन्वेंशनल चैलेंजेस. तो ये कुछ हो गया आपका कन्वेंशनल चैलेंजेस. नॉन कन्वेंशनल चैलेंजेस मतलब जो चाइना के राइज ने एसर्टिवनेस, जो चाइना का इंक्रीज हो रहा है इंडियन ओशन रीजन और पैसिफिक ओशन रीजन में, जो उसके वजह से जो नए थ्रेट्स डेवलप हो रहे हैं, दोज विल बी कॉल्ड एज नॉन कन्वेंशनल थ्रेट्स. द नेक्स्ट इज very important note that Pratham NGO has been selected for Indira Gandhi Peace Prize. तो पहले हम देखते हैं कि इंदिरा गांधी पीस प्राइज का फुल फॉर्म क्या है. सो इंदिरा गांधी प्राइज फॉर पीस डेवलपमेंट, इंदिरा गांधी प्राइज फॉर पीस डिसआर्मामेंट एंड डेवलपमेंट फॉर 2021. नाउ द इंटरनेशनल ज्यूरी was chaired by Chief Justice of India, former Chief Justice of India, Justice T.S. Thakur, and who has announced the award of the prize to the organization. Now what is प्रथम? हमने लास्ट वीक में ही किया था असर रिपोर्ट के बारे में, ASER, एनुअल स्टेटस ऑफ एजुकेशन रिपोर्ट, जहां हमने देखा था कि only one third of the children in class 1 and class 2 have not attended the school physically. Now this report is released by प्रथम NGO. उसके बाद प्रथम NGO का हम थोड़ा सा हिस्ट्री देखेंगे. So it was set up in 1995 in Mumbai by Dr. Madhav Chauhan and Farida Lambai, and it started working in Mumbai slums, setting up balwadis or preschools and offering remedial education for students who were lagging behind their grade level curriculum. Okay, it also releases annual status of education report, which is based on surveying 6 lakh rural Indian children, and is now used as a model to assess education outcome and learning deficiencies in 14 countries over 3 continents. Now Pratham has also developed low cost and replicable innovations working with government and community to improve learning outcomes. Its programs now covers children and young adults in 21 states. The next is Prime Minister likely to join with Joe Biden's Democracy Summit. So over here, so Democracy Summit for Democracy is to be hosted by US President Biden, okay, Joe Biden. So India is going to take part in it. 2 countries who have not been invited are China and Russia. So they are not invited over here. Now so other countries which have been invited in the Indian neighborhood are India, Maldives, Nepal and Pakistan. But other countries who have not been invited yet are Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Bhutan. The next is in South Asian region, two issues which are going to be discussed are Afghanistan and Myanmar, where democratic governments were overthrown forcibly this year. Now इंडिया का पोजीशन देखिए, इंडिया हैज़ ट्रेडिशनली रिगार्डेड इश्यूज ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी एंड ह्यूमन राइट्स एज एन इंटरनल मैटर फॉर द कंट्री, क्योंकि पास्ट में यूके, यूएस ने और यूरोपियन यूनियन ने बहुत बार रेजोल्यूशन पास करने की कोशिश की टू हाईलाइट द restrictions in Jammu and Kashmir, protest over the Farm Bill and Citizenship Amendment Act. Now, what is the importance of this summit? So see, this summit follows months after an attempt by US and UK was made to expand the G7 meet into D10, or group of 10 democracies that represent 60% of the global population. इसमें जो G7 members के countries हैं वो तो होंगे ही, प्लस 3 एक्स्ट्रा कंट्रीज जो इसमें ऐड होंगे, दैट विल बी ऑस्ट्रेलिया, इंडिया एंड साउथ कोरिया. नाउ द नेक्स्ट न्यूज़ इज सिंगापुर फ्लाइट्स टू रेज्यूम फ्रॉम नवंबर 29. तो हमने इसको न्यूज़ को पहले भी देखा है कि वैक्सीनेटेड ट्रैवल लाइन प्रोग्राम विल बी बिगन फ्रॉम नवंबर 29. देयर विल बी 6 डेली डेजिग्नेटेड फ्लाइट्स फ्रॉम चेन्नई, दिल्ली एंड मुंबई टू सिंगापुर. नाउ दिस importance of this vaccinated travel lane is that it will facilitate quarantine free travel on the vaccinated travel lane from India to Singapore. Now, will non-VTL flights operate? Yeah, they will operate, but then they will have to follow the health requirements of the Singapore ministry. Now, short-term visitors and long-term pass holders will not need to apply for vaccinated travel pass to enter Singapore under the VTL. Now, under the VTL, only fully vaccinated travelers from VTL countries may enter Singapore without quarantine requirement. The only thing is that they have to undergo testing. 2 tests has to be taken, one before departure and one on the arrival in Changi Airport in Singapore. The next is the Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia. He is going to hold a meeting to review the progress and planning of COVID-19 vaccination, especially in northeastern states and Puducherry. The 3 northeastern states are Manipur, Meghalaya, Nagaland, and one is Puducherry. Now, why these 4 states have been selected? Because the first dose coverage is less than 70%. So if you will see Meghalaya, the first dose coverage is 56.7%, Manipur 54.2%, Nagaland 49%, Puducherry 65.7%. Now, in order to increase the outreach of COVID-19 vaccine, the government has already launched a Har Ghar Dastak campaign, which is house to house COVID-19 vaccination drive. It will focus to increase the coverage of first dose and second dose as well. Now, if you will just see the figure, that 82% of the eligible population in India has received the first dose of vaccination, while around 43% has been fully vaccinated. But there is one disturbing trend over here, that is more than 12 crore beneficiaries are overdue for their second dose of vaccine after the expiry of the prescribed interval between the 2 jabs. Now, this is the UNESCO report. So here the name of the report by the UNESCO is When Schools Shut, Gender Impact of COVID-19 School Closure. Here it has been said that educational disruption due to prolonged closure of schools across the globe will have alarming effects on learning loss, but it also threatens gender equality in education. So now if you will just see the figure, that at the peak of the pandemic, 1.6 billion students in 190 countries were affected by school closures, and they lost access to education, and they also lost access to myriad benefits of attending school. जैसे कि इंडिया में अगर आप देखेंगे कि one of the benefits of attending the school is access to midday meal scheme, which has a direct impact on nutrition. The next is the again a social issue, where a study has been carried out by Azim Premji University, and over here the report is showing the health disparity through life expectancy in the urban area. अगर हम रिच और पुअर को कंपेयर करें अर्बन एरिया में, तो सी लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी अमंग द पुअरेस्ट इज लोअर बाय 9.1 ईयर्स. मतलब कि अगर हम एक रिच और एक पुअर को लेते हैं तो दोनों का जो लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी का जो डिफरेंस है, इट इज़ अराउंड 10 ईयर्स. अगर इफ पुअर इज गोइंग टू लिव फॉर, इफ द रिच इज गोइंग टू लिव फॉर 70 ईयर्स, पुअर इज गोइंग टू लिव ओनली फॉर 60 ईयर्स. ओके, अगर हम वुमेन की बात करें तो दैट इज 6.2 ईयर्स. नाउ द नेम ऑफ द रिपोर्ट इज हेल्थ केयर इक्विटी इन अर्बन एरिया। अब अगर हम देखें कि ये क्या इसका रीज़न हो सकता है कि बिकॉज दिस डाइवर्सिटी इज देयर, सो इफ यू विल जस्ट सी द डिसप्रपोर्शनेट डिजीज बर्डन ऑन द पुअर, chaotic urban health governance where there are number of healthcare providers both within and outside the government but there is no proper coordination between them. The others are heavy financial burden on the poor and less investment in healthcare by urban local bodies. How we can overcome it? We should have something like National Urban Health Mission which improves the accessibility of affordable healthcare. The next news is about the Sudan. So यहाँ पे क्या हुआ था कि there was since 2019, in 2019 due to civil uprising the autocrat Omar al-Bashir was removed. Then a civilian military government was established and it was decided that by 2021 Sudan will make a transition towards full democracy. Before that could take place, the Sudan's top general Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, he arrested the Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok. Then again there was a civilian uprising and now a compromise has been reached which is called as a breakthrough deal which was signed on Sunday to reverse the military takeover in Sudan, and then there will be a free and transparent elections which will be held, which is the part of the transition process. It is the 14-point deal which restores the transition to civilian rule which was derailed by October 25 push. Push matlab military takeover of the power. Then this is very important news. कभी कभी एलेक्ट में इस टाइप के न्यूज़ आते हैं। तो यहाँ पे एक चाइनीज प्लेयर हैं, टेनिस प्लेयर हैं पेंग शुई. शी फर्स्ट मेड एन थ्रू हर Sina Weibo account. Sina Weibo is like a Twitter in China. So on November 2nd she posted a message on Chinese social media site Sina Weibo that she alleged sexual abuse by a vice premier of China, Zhang Gaoli. After that she disappeared. Later on her video was shared by a Chinese media companies. So over here you will see that new videos were posted on Twitter which is blocked in China by Hu Zixin, who is the editor-in-chief of the Global Times. And in this video there are still concerns about her whereabouts and whether that video is a natural video or it was made to counter the global hue and cry over her disappearance. The next is China downgrades diplomatic ties with Lithuania over Taiwan. So China, which has officially downgraded the diplomatic ties with Lithuania. Why? Because Lithuania has allowed Taiwan to establish a de facto embassy in Vilnius, so it goes against the China's One China policy. The next is protest has broken out in the Pakistan port city over CPEC. The full form of CPEC is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. It connects northwestern China with Gwadar port in Pakistan, and there have been unnecessary checkpoints, and there are severe shortage of water and electricity and threats to livelihoods from illegal fishing. That's why the people are protesting against this project. As you see, China's presence in Gwadar, which is the port, it is an integral part of $60 billion China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is the flagship project of China's Belt and Road Initiative. The next is Sri Lanka revokes ban on fertilizers. So over here we already know that Sri Lanka was pursuing the organic farming policy vigorously, which led to severe shortage of food in Sri Lanka. So now Sri Lanka has abandoned its quest to become world's first completely organic farming nation. It has announced immediate lift on ban on pesticides and other agricultural inputs. The next is about the El Salvador. So El Salvador is the first country to make Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency as a legal tender. Now El Salvador is planning to build the world's first Bitcoin city powered by Volcano and financed by cryptocurrency bonds. Now coming to sports. So over here Lewis Hamilton has won the inaugural Qatar Grand Prix by defeating Max Verstappen. Now coming to editorial. So this is about the Swachh Sarvekshan Award. which was announced by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So let's have the important highlights of Swachh Sarvekshan Award. So the Swachh Sarvekshan Award 2021. So India's cleanest city in the category of population more than 1 lakh. So Indore has won the title for the 5th consecutive year. The next is Surat and Vijayawada are the second and third city which are the India's cleanest city with population more than 1 lakh. Now India's cleanest city with population less than 1 lakh. The first is Vita, the second is Lonavala, the third is Saswat. They all three are in Maharashtra. The next is Varanasi has won for the cleanest Ganga city. Then we have a best cantonment town. Then first is Ahmedabad, second is Meerut, then third is Delhi. Then which is the fastest mover in the ranks? So Hoshangabad in Madhya Pradesh, earlier its rank was 361. Now this year its rank is 87. Now in states we have two categories. One is 100 plus urban local body category and second category is less than 100 urban local body category. So in 100 plus ULB category, Chhattisgarh for the third time has won the award, and in category of 100 less than 100 urban local body category, Jharkhand has won the award for the second consecutive time. In the same category of 100 plus ULB category, Karnataka is the fastest moving state and Mizoram is the fastest moving state in less than 100 urban local bodies category. Then there was a Safai Mitra Suraksha Challenge on the occasion of World Toilet Day, that is November 19th. So Indore is the topper in the Safai Mitra Suraksha Challenge. It aims to eradicate manual scavenging. Then for the first time a new category was introduced, Prerak Dewar Daur Samman. So in Prerak Daur Samman, which is Divya or Platinum category, 5 entities have been awarded the Platinum category, that is Indore, Surat, Navi Mumbai, New Delhi Municipal Council and Tirupati. The next is On the Brink. So over here it is there are three things to understand: Russia, Ukraine and Minsk Accord. Now before understanding the Russia and Ukraine, there is some background that before 1991 Ukraine was the part of the USSR, but after 1991 when the breakup of USSR took place, Ukraine became the independent country and later on it joined NATO, which is a military alliance led by US. Now Russia does not like the presence of US or its allies in Black Sea or Baltic Sea because it threatens its sovereignty. So what happens now that because of this there is always a tension going on between Ukraine and Russia. So over here now the current issue is the massive mobilization of Russian troops on the Ukraine border and the occasional outbreak of violence along the line of contact between the Russian-backed rebels in Donbas region and of Ukraine. Now why this is happening over here? So we will just see that in the Black Sea, the Russian President Vladimir Putin has dispatched vessels to shadow US warship. The US has warned its ally, that is Ukraine, that there can be a Russian attack on Ukraine. Now why Russia has adopted an aggressive posture? So somewhere it is related with Afghanistan. So Mr. Putin's assessment is that the US was strategically weakened after its Afghan withdrawal and its preoccupation with China's rise in East Asia, which gives him an opportunity to assert Russian primacy in the Black Sea and Baltic region. Now in 2015 there was an open conflict which was averted by Minsk II peace agreement after the mediation of France and Germany. Now what happened over here was that Ukraine was required to delegate more power to the breakaway regions and introduce constitutional reforms, and Russia also agreed because Russia thought that delegation of power to the rebels in Ukraine will enhance Moscow's leverage or control that it could use to prevent Ukraine's full integration with the West. Now Kyiv, which is the capital of Ukraine, is reluctant to implement the agreement, and its growing military, economic and political ties with the West is the cause of concern for Mr. Putin. Now Ukraine, it lacks the military resources to deter its giant neighbor, and Ukraine understands that there is no guarantee that the West would come to its help if the Russia invades Ukraine. The next news is related with the farm laws and parliament. So it is more about the parliamentary procedures which according to the author which was flouted, and the discussions could not be held about the pros and cons of farm laws which was going to impact the farming committee, which constitutes around 50% of the Indian population. And since the parliamentary procedures like sending the bill to the select committees for proper discussions, inviting the stakeholders to get their views on certain issues, these were not followed. So according to the author, this is the main reason that why government has to announce that they are giving up on this bill. They will work on dismantling this bill in the winter session. The next is about making Ayurveda a real science. So over here the pandemic has shown us the importance of Ayurveda, but still the Ayurveda has to present evidence before the scientific community that Ayurveda works. Otherwise the scientific community views Ayurveda as a pseudoscience. Then this is about the meat of the matter. Bans on certain kinds of food marginalizes communities and threatens people's livelihood. So there are certain civic bodies in Gujarat like Vadodara, Rajkot, Bhavnagar and Junagadh which have launched a drive against hawkers and vendors who were running non-vegetarian food joints along the streets and footpath on the basis that it hurts the religious sentiment. So if we just see the population distribution of Gujarat, so there are 15% scheduled tribes, 10% Muslims, 7.5% scheduled caste and 50% OBCs and migrants too. So that's all for today. We will meet tomorrow again with a daily Hindu analysis. Till then, have a nice day. Take care. Thank you.